Last year I did a video where I tried to find the best branded frozen pizza. This year I'm going to do a similar video, but this time I'm going to find the best supermarket own brand frozen pizza. Now I'm going for the mid-range ones here, so not the essentials or basic, and not the finest or the best, just sort of the ones that are right in the middle, because I thought that would probably be the fairest way of doing it. So again, this is going to be filmed over a number of weeks because while I do adore pizza, that many pizzas all in one go over a whole couple of weeks, that would be too much pizza even for me. And I am just going to be going for cheese and tomato. You might say it's boring. I'm not going to disagree with you, but it's my second favourite topping. My favourite topping is cheese and tomato with tons of mushrooms on, but that's not a flavour that you tend to find very often. So I thought keeping it the same flavour would make it the fairest way of doing it. So I'm going to start with Tesco's. This box has been completely battered in the delivery van and my freezer, but this costs £1.65. So I'm going to go pop it in the oven for 12 minutes and then I'll be back. One Tesco pizza. Now, I gave it 12 minutes in the oven and it was still frozen inside. So I then gave it another 5 and this is what we have ended up with. Size-wise, yeah, pretty happy. The topping coverage looks to be fairly even. It has kind of slid off a bit at points where I've cut it, but I often find that happens with frozen pizzas. So I am just going to try a slice. Hopefully not burn my mouth. Probably not a great first date food pizza. You can see it's nice and crisp underneath. The base does have a crispness to it, which I really like. The topping is lovely and cheesy. And you do get the tomato flavour coming through. So I'm actually surprised by how much I like this. I didn't think it was going to be as nice as it seems to be. I don't want to go in too high with the scoring, but I also don't want to be too harsh. So I think I'm going to give this 3 out of 5. To get a 5, it has to be an absolutely outstanding pizza. And this is not outstanding, but it's certainly not horrible. I think I'd really like to give it a 4, so I may bump it up a bit, just depending how future pizzas do. But for now, I'll stick with a 3. Waitrose are up next, and this takes between 14 and 16 minutes at 180 degrees. So I'm definitely going to give it 16 minutes. It was one of the pricier pizzas at £3. So, I mean, it is Waitrose. I was expecting that, but will it be worth the extra cost? One Waitrose pizza, and 16 minutes was enough this time. Again, when slicing it, some of the cheese did get a bit mangled, but overall, it still looks like a very nice pizza. You can see where there's been the big circles of mozzarella, and then you've got the small cherry tomatoes dotted about. It cuts much more easily than the Tesco one did. It's got a nice crisp base. It's thin but fluffy. You can definitely taste the pesto on this, and it's delicious. A very nice cheesy pizza, and the base is exactly as I would like it. Even though it is a bit more expensive, it is a nicer pizza than the Tesco one. So I'm actually going to give this one 4. I think to push it to a 5 for me, I would like a slightly thinner base and possibly more topping. But it's a very good pizza. However, will I think it's value for money by the end of this? Well, I don't know yet, because I'm just starting out and it is currently the most expensive one. And if I get another one, I mean, I wouldn't say this pizza is so much better than Tesco's to justify paying the extra for it. Yes, I've rated it more highly because it is a nicer pizza, but I would rather pay the £1.65 and have the cheaper pizza from Tesco than £3 and have this one. There's just not enough of a contrast in the quality and flavour, in my opinion. This is the Asda pizza, also £1.65. The box is quite mangled. That is the fault of my freezer. I need to get it defrosted, but the pizza inside should be absolutely fine. I'm going to go pop it in the oven, see you back when it's done. This pizza looks very similar to the Tesco pizza, and indeed was also £1.65, and I had to give it 3 minutes more than the 12 minutes recommended because it was mostly cooked, whereas the Tesco one was still cold in the middle, but the cheese hadn't melted fully. The topping seems to be evenly spread, which is good. And it's got a nice thin base. Nice and tangy tomato. The cheese also is sharper than the cheese on the Tesco pizza tasted. I think I'm probably going to give this a 2. It doesn't have as much flavour as the other 2 pizzas that I've had. It's not horrible, so I don't think it needs a 1 because, you know, I'll happily eat the rest of it, but yeah, it's definitely towards the bottom end of the pile. The next frozen pizza being put to the test is the Morrisons Stone Baked 4 Cheese Pizza. And this one was £2.29. You could have got 2 for £4 on offer, but I just got 1. And it's 200 degrees for 11 to 13 minutes. So this pizza has had its 13 minutes, and I have to say, to me, it looks pretty good. The toppings are nice and even. I didn't have to do anything once I took it out the pack. I could just put it straight in the oven. There was no cheese to be redistributed. Nice thin base, but still crispy. Really, really cheesy. Very hot to hold. The cheese is a lovely creamy cheese, and you can taste the tomato, and the texture of the base is really good. And I think I'm actually going to rate this one a 4 because I really, really like it. What would push it to a 5 would be just a bit more intensity and flavour. It is cheesy and it is tomatoey, but if it was bland, I wouldn't be rating it a 4. Today's frozen pizza is the Aldi Carlo's Thin Crust Stone Baked Margherita Pizza, which comes in at £1.39. So this takes 17 minutes in a fan oven. 17 minutes later, it certainly doesn't look quite as appetizing as some of the pizzas I've tried. It certainly doesn't look bad. The toppings were evenly spread when I took it out of the box, so I'm hoping I won't burn myself on it. The number of times I burn my mouth on pizza, it is ridiculous. Okay, so it has torn a bit. The base is quite soft, but also quite fluffy. The cheese is nice and tangy. I wouldn't mind the base being a bit crisper, but flavour-wise, it's really nice. I think I'm going to give it a 3. The base probably would be a bit crispier if I cooked it slightly longer. So for that reason, I'm not marking it down, because It's the right kind of thickness for me. The taste is really, really good and the price is brilliant. The next contender is the 4-cheese pizza from Sainsburys, and this is 17 minutes in the fan oven. £1.75 for this Sainsburys pizza, which I have to say does look very appetizing to me. So go for a smaller slice. I don't think I've cut it as well as I could have. There we go. So it's nice and thin. Again, not the crispiest of bases, but well topped. Lovely and cheesy. The topping and base ratio is perfect in my opinion. Definitely one of the nicer ones that I have tried. I think I'm going to give this one a 4. Again, it would be elevated to a 5 if the base was a little crispier. But otherwise, it's a really delicious pizza. This pizza comes from Iceland and it's also £1.65 and it cooks from frozen in 14 minutes. So I'll see you then. Well, it's had its 14 minutes, but it definitely does not look as appetizing to me as the other pizzas that I've tried. It's got a very cheesy smell to it, which is good. Crispy base, nice and thin. The tomato tastes kind of watery. And even though it looks like it's got a lot of cheese on it, there's not a lot of flavour. And the base is also very chewy. All in all, Iceland, I think I'm going to rate this 1 because I definitely wouldn't have it again. And I'm really not enjoying it. It's very bland and very chewy. If it was completely inedible, it would score nothing. It's not. It's just not very nice. So yeah, I think this is probably going to end up being at the bottom of the pile, but we'll see. Here we are at the final pizza, and this is the Co-op frozen margarita pizza, £1.80. 12 minutes at 200 degrees and the pizza is done. I have to say it's probably about the least appetizing looking of all the ones that I've tried, but it may still surprise me with the taste. I mean, it's got a nice base, crispy. Very bland. I'll try another bite. Yeah, definitely lacking in flavour. I'd say this is probably on a par with Iceland. I'm going to rate it a 1 because it just doesn't have any real flavour to it. I wouldn't get it again, guys. I really wouldn't. So I guess it's then on to the final rating, and if you've been keeping track, you'll know that I've rated 3 pizzas 4 stars out of 5, or 4 slices out of 5. They are Sainsburys, Morrisons and Waitrose. Now, I think my overall winner is going to be Sainsburys because of the top 3, it is the cheapest. In terms of flavour and things like that, there's just so little to choose between them that I really am coming down to price. So Morrisons would come in at number 2 and Waitrose as the most expensive, number 3. But those are the 3 that I would say are definitely, hands down, the best frozen supermarket own brand pizzas. You'll notice there was no pizza from M&S and there was no pizza from Lidl. Up here, they don't seem to do an own brand thin crust cheese and tomato or margarita pizza, which just seems incredible. But I suspect it is because my local stores of both are quite small. I couldn't get them. I couldn't put them in this video, but I think I've done a pretty good job of getting as many as possible. So I'm going to finish the rest of this pizza. I might stick it back in the oven and add more cheese to it because it needs something to give it some taste. But thank you for watching. Please drop me a comment in the box below. Let me know if you agree with my opinion or not. And I hope to see you back for the next video. But for now, take care. Bye.